For anybody who was a Line 6 Helix user back when the firmware update was released that included the Placater Dirty Amplifier, you will likely remember the excitement and the buzz online. This was, in my opinion, and arguably one of the most anticipated amp models to be added to the Helix, and it sure did not disappoint. In this episode of Helix Amps Revisited, we are going to take a look at this amp model and get a nice basic little tone going from it. I'm going to have a link below to my website where you can download this preset for free. This is actually a tiny little excerpt from my full Line 6 Marketplace Placater Ultimate preset, which actually includes multi-snapshots, everything from extremely clean all the way up to just searing leads, maybe even over-the-top distortion, utilizing both the Placater Clean model, the Placater Dirty model, and a massive array of effects, all dialed in to use in the studio or live. I use this preset myself all the time and absolutely love it. So the link will be below to the Placater Ultimate preset on the Line 6 Marketplace if you're so inclined and want to grab that, but the free one is available on my website, and the link to the Placater Ultimate is also at my website when you go to download the free one. All right, without further ado, let's dive right over to HX Edit and see if we can't get this Placater model sounding incredible. All right, so here's my little preset that I have here. Very simple. This should work on HX Stomp as well as Helix, although the full Placater Ultimate preset is not compatible with Stomp just because there's far too many snapshots and also far too many effects in there as well. But this will get you started on your Stomp if you want to load this in there. So what have I done here? Well, let's start at the end. I've added my little LA Studio comp in here with a peak reduction of 6.2, gain of 5, brought the level back to minus 2.9 for comparison purposes today when we turn it on and off. That's an always on effect for me, so I'm never too worried about whether engaging it boosts the volume a bit, but for this example, I made sure that this was matched perfectly. That's just a little bit of glue, and it's only kissing the sound by maybe 1, maybe 2 dB of gain reduction. I also have a parametric EQ on with a couple little moves here. The low cut at 100 Hertz, high cut at 12 kilohertz. And I also have the mid frequency set to 450 Hertz with a Q of 1.4. And I have that pulled back minus 2.5 just to clean up some of the lower mids. We all know the direct recording of guitars can be pretty dry, so I've added a little bit of room reverb with a decay of 5 and a mix of 30%. And this worked nicely just to give it a little bit of life to it. I also have a low and a high shelf EQ with the low frequency and high frequency both set to 650 Hertz. All the frequencies below 650 are being brought back by minus 2 dB, and all the frequencies above are being boosted by plus 1 dB. The cab I'm using is the new to firmware 3.5 412 Greenback 25 with the movable mics. I've chosen one of my favorite mics, the 121 ribbon. I have it on the cap edge and I have it pulled back 4 inches, and the 0 degree setting has been chosen. And here's the settings on the amp. I have the drive at 4.7, I have the bass at 5.7, mids are at 5.1, treble is at 7.5, presence is at 6.8, channel volume at 8.8, master is at 5.3, sag is at 5. I have HBE fat C45 and saturation off. I know the C45 I think comes on by default, and it's pretty much the first thing I always do is go and turn that off. The deeper functions, ripple bias, bias X, are all set to 5. All right, so I have 2 snapshots here. I have unprocessed, which takes just the amp and the cab as they're dialed in, gets rid of the verb, any of the little tiny EQ changes I made, and the compressor at the end. And then I have processed where it adds all that processing in. Let's first listen to this with the unprocessed sound. Just as a side note, the free preset you're going to download is not going to have the unprocessed snapshot. This is just for comparison purposes for the sake of this video. So here's the unprocessed sound. And I'm playing my Vigier GV Wood semi-hollow body. Now you'll notice with that, there's nothing wrong with the sound, but it does have a little bit of muddiness and maybe lacks a bit of clarity. I'm going to add these little effects in one by one. So we're going to come to our low and high shelf. You'll notice by just engaging that with the really subtle changes, it cleans up some of that mud and gives it just a little bit of clarity, and I'm liking it much better already. Let's add the reverb in. Doing what it's supposed to do, adding a little tiny bit of ambience to the sound. Coming over to our EQ here with our low cuts and high cuts, and this little cut at the 450 hertz range. Here it is without that. Cleans it up a little further and allows it to maybe cut a little bit more without those low mid-range frequencies kind of muddying things up. And the compressor is going to be extremely subtle, as it always is, just to kind of give it a bit of a different feel and a little bit of goo and squish to it. So here it is without. Some of you may not even notice a difference, but you definitely feel it while you're playing, and it just adds such a subtle change to it, but I find it so nice. Now, let's take all of that processed and listen to it versus the unprocessed version, because when we add all of those things together, it really does kind of bring this preset to life. So I'll disengage all of these blocks on the unprocessed sound. So now we can see when we press processed, we have the processed sound. All of these blocks are turned on. When we go to unprocessed, only thing that's left on is the amp and cab. So let's listen to the unprocessed. Watch up here so you can see and hear the difference between the unprocessed and processed sound. You'll notice kind of a tubbiness and muddiness to this sound with, like I said, it lacks a little bit of clarity, which could be kind of problematic in a mix, maybe getting in the way of where the bass guitar is a little bit, and maybe not really cutting as nicely. Whereas that tone is going to sound great as we crank it up and when we try to get it working live or in the studio in a mix. All right, so there again, you have the free preset. It's available at the link below if you want to grab that and utilize it. There's also a link for my full Placater Ultimate preset, which is much more than this. It's going to have the Placater Clean, the Placater Dirty, multiple snapshots going all the way from clean to just searing leads, kind of almost over the top, everything you could possibly need in there, a full array of effects. It's one of my favorite presets and one that I use all the time. So the link to that is below also. So don't take my word for it. Let's listen to see how the Placater Ultimate preset actually works in a mix with a few different styles of music. you have it. What do you guys think? I hope you enjoyed both the look at the free preset and the look at the demo videos for the Placater Ultimate. I hope it's something you enjoy, and I hope it's something you can get use out of. Please grab the free preset, use it to your heart's content, tweak it however you like. But if you feel like supporting my channel and getting a great preset at the same time, please go to Line 6 Marketplace at the link below and grab a copy of the Placater Ultimate preset too. It really helps me to keep being able to do these videos. Thank you guys so much for listening in today and sharing your time with me. Please like the video and share it with anybody who you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out, and I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.